Welcome back to the Larry Hembree pregame show. We are in our Where Are They Now segment, and I'm talking tonight with Kenny Nigg, 1976 graduate, in his home in Washington, Indiana. Kenny, how are you today?
Oh, I'm pretty good. How are you?
I'm just fine. It's been a while since we've talked. I remember greatly from high school when you played ball. You guys got big plans for Thanksgiving this year?
Oh, we're having my wife's family over. Her entire family's coming over, and we're in the midst of preparing for that right now, cleaning up the house and all.
Hey, Kenny, you played in 1976. Of course, you're a member of the 1975 state finalist team. But in 76 as a senior, we'll get to the 75 in a little bit. Who are some of the guys you played with, and what do you recall particularly about your season in 1976 you'd like to share with our fans?
Well, of course, yourself. Remember playing with you. I think you were a sophomore then.
That's right.
Mike Wagner, Dave Strange, Kenny Mattingly. Let's see. I forget the other.
Paul Hildebrand was our center.
Paul Hildebrand was the center, yeah. So, and that year, let's see, we got beat in the final game of the sectional, I believe it was.
And was that an overtime game? I
think that was an overtime game. And
well, you recall we'd set the final shot up for you. We'd worked at it in practice all week, and unfortunately, we weren't able to get you the ball. Everybody, including today, believes you would have hit that shot, but you never got a chance to shoot it.
Well, I appreciate that. I don't know about that, though. You know, I like to have the ball at the end of the game, but whether I'd have hit that shot, I don't know. But that was a disappointing loss for myself and the team, I think. So.
Well, Kenny, you were also a member of the 1975 state finals team, a starting guard on team. What kind of experience was that, going all the way to the final game in the state finals?
Oh, I tell you, it's something that, you know, here I am. I just turned 40, and it's something I'll never ever forget. It's probably one of the best experiences I've ever had in my entire life. I think that it was a time where everybody just cut loose and enjoyed themselves. We had the whole state behind us. Everybody was, real close, and people would come up to myself and other team members and wondering what Mr. Butcher was saying. What's he going to do? How you guys going to do this? How you guys going to do that? It was just like we were on this big pedestal and big throne, which I don't know whether we should have been or shouldn't have been, but still that's the way it was, and it was just an exciting time for the players and the fans, I believe. So, and my brothers, both Bill Nigg and Jim Nigg, still talk about going to the finals as fans, and they say that's probably one of the best times of their life too. So I think it's just fantastic.
Well, you mentioned you had two brothers. They both, I believe, played ball for Loogootee.
That's true.
That's true. And so you were in a basketball family. Of course, I've known you most of my life. You were always a good athlete in all sports. But one thing that some fans may not recall as much, I'm sure the ones that have seen you play do, but for some of our younger listeners, is that you probably had as great as range shooting outside. There's a lot of people talk about the three-point line now and on. We didn't have that when you played, but you were one guy that could certainly shoot a three-pointer. And in fact, I think a lot of kids today, they have the line out there. They get up as close as they could to it, but you launched shots, and I have some film to prove it, that were much further out. And of course, you could drive, but you were a great outside shooter. And now your senior year, if you can recall, once you let some people know about some of your statistics, what you averaged, and some of those kind of things.
Boy, I tell you, the only thing I can probably remember, I shot maybe 49% from the field, and I think I averaged just 15 and a half points a game. But I was proud of that point average because I think my average shots per game were like 12 shots a game. So most people who average over 20 are shooting 20 to 22 times a game.
Well, with Mike Wagner as the other guard, it was hard to get much more shots than that. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, well, Mike, of course, Mike speaks for himself. I mean, he's a heck of an athlete, and I remember in going to the state final run, I credit Mike with a lot of the reason we were where we were, because he'd come off that bench, and when we were floundering, he'd come in and fire up a couple of long-range bombers, and it seemed like the crowd would get behind him. And I give Mike a lot of credit for that run,
Well, Mike, if you're listening, we're just teasing you a little bit. We know you like to shoot. But, Kenny, also, what have you been up to since you graduated from high school? And I know you're in Washington now, but where you been for these last 23 or so years?
Oh, I've been around a little everywhere. out in Nashville, Tennessee, and then I went to St. Louis, Missouri for a while, and then I was in Indianapolis, and then to Cleveland, Ohio. Now I'm back I'm working in Indianapolis for Charles Schwab and Company, but I've been a broker for the most part. Well, yeah, for pretty much the whole time I've been out of school.
Okay, and where did you go to college at, Kenny?
I went to Vincennes University for 2 years and Indiana State for 2 years.
Did you ever participate in any post-high school athletics?
No, that's something I never did participate in. I did play intramurals and all, but I never did play college ball of any kind.
Now, when you were in high school, you played baseball, I know, 3 years, and you were on the golf team. Did you ever run track?
Well, I tried.
You tried?
And I tried to avoid cross country as much as possible. I think Mr. Butcher knew that probably, but I did. Something we were required as a freshman. I think my leg was messed up, and I got a doctor's order that year to get out of it. But all the other basketball players thought I was, wimping out or whatever. But anyway,
part of the game plan.
Part of the game, yeah.
Right. Hey, in closing tonight, of course, you played for Coach Butcher, and we've all sat around through the years and had our talks about Coach Butcher, the good times and the tougher times. What do you recall most about your years with Loogootee and playing for Coach Butcher?
My years with Coach Butcher were it was basically you had to play fundamentals. I mean, if you weren't good fundamentally, you'd find yourself over on the bench. If you made a bad pass, you weren't thinking out there. He demanded, basically, in my opinion, perfection, and I think all the players strive for that. And if you didn't, you had a Mike Wagner or somebody coming in for you, or Larry Hembree. You're on the bench, so you did the best you could to do what he said. And he was tough, but then again, he knew. I respected what he was trying to teach us, and I just wish we could have went the one step further in the state finals and won it all. But that's the way it goes. So.
Well, Kenny, I can tell you as a young sophomore watching you play, I learned a great deal from you. You were a good guy to understudy, and, of course, I learned from Mike Wagner as well. But I greatly appreciate you today talking to us. It was good to hear from you again. It's been a while, and hopefully I'll get to see you around soon. But I want to wish you the best of luck and a happy Thanksgiving.
Well, happy Thanksgiving to you, Larry, and happy Thanksgiving to all the ball players, and hope they go all the way.
All right, Kenny.
All right, take care.
Bye-bye.